podcast. Its purpose is to provide thought-provoking dialogue with a slanted perspective. Here we encourage influential conversations. Give us a listen, like and share. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Welcome to CEO and the Doctor.
CEO and the Doctor, episode 18. What has your service meant to you? What's going on today, P? How you feeling, man?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Oh my God, the heat's it's here. It's here. It's 100 degrees at 10 a.m. this morning.
The heat is on.
Man, today today's Ev's birthday. She would have been 55 today. So Brian, I took out some flowers. We could both hear. Y'all better get your asses out the heat. So took some flowers out, dropped some kisses, some, we miss her and all that. So I wouldn't call it a somber day or, it's I don't know, it's just something that, we've because we go out there quite a bit. We go out to the cemetery quite a bit. So, this is becoming commonplace, I guess. And it's just really, I don't want to get to the point where I don't go out there and, I feel like she's slipping from my memory. That makes sense.
It does, man. It does. And, from my family to yours, happy heavenly birthday to Mama P. Rachel posted this morning, and, it instantly got me thinking about you. So I started my day with a text to you today. Just remembering her, had the day off. So, I just been kind of taking it light. Didn't really even put no clothes on today, really just been kind of lounging. Yeah. But she was definitely in my thoughts today, man.
I appreciate my family, man. I tell you guys all the time, you guys are an extension of my family. She loves you guys. I love you guys. You've watched my kids grow up.
Yeah.
That's the real guys are our family, which is kind of apropos for our main subject. What's our service mean to us? So let's just get right into it. So since I'm the old head, I'll start. I remember my first day in the Air Force vividly. I remember leaving Chicago, and I had never been on an airplane before in my life. Got on an airplane, put that brave face on because it was me and like 13 other people,
Right.
So put the brave face on, got on the plane, terrified. I'm scared as fuck. I don't know what to expect. We landed in San Antonio, and you tell me this. You get there during the day, and you stay at the airport damn near till it's dark out before the bus comes to get you.
Same.
Did that happen? Okay. Same. All right. I just wanted to make sure.
So when did you join? 88?
87.
87. So 16 years after, still the same.
Okay. I was about to flip you out because you about to throw that age reference in there. I wasn't even in grade school or whatever. Something like that. Anyway.
But anyway.
Yeah. See. Yeah. It's all love though. Yeah, man. I left Chicago. That was my means of escape, but over the years and, the people that I met, the places, my service gave me a life, a life that I would not have realized. I like to think that I would not have. It's been instrumental in the life that I have. So, my family, my wife, I wouldn't have had my 28-year marriage with my wife if I didn't. Yep. And when I think of all the people that I've met, man, I guess we could say we've met thousands of people in all the years, and we've been through so many different countries and places and cities and bases, and experienced so much. My service has shaped my being. It's
that's
given
real.
me it's given me an appreciation for the life that I have, my kids, my family, my relationships with you, my brothers. My service became, as I got older into it and I went further, and more promotions and more rank, more responsibility. My service became less about me and more about the people that I served with. Um, we had this discussion a little while ago. It's not about the job that you're doing, it's about the people you serve with.
Yep.
Because anybody can do the job. So mine became about you, became about Dwayne, it became about Lee. And it's really man, last week was amazing because Lee came by. Airman Lee is now Captain Lee. He's a PA,
Yeah, wow.
and we're sitting having lunch and meeting his wife, and we're talking about things, and
That was my
it was
first
like
Bible troop. Crazy.
yeah, it was like a little mini family reunion because Pogo is here. Him and Pogo came together.
Okay.
Man, Pogo is doing his thing, real estate, business, you name it, and he's doing great at it. So he came over, we called Happy Yannick, we hit all you guys up. You guys are my legacy. My service legacy is you. And the successes that all of you have had. I've watched each one of you evolve into better people, better husbands, better mothers, better wives, better everything. When I think about it, my service was not in vain because of the successes that I realized through the people that I served with, and I was fortunate enough to mentor. So that's the best way that I can put it. Now, and it will always be about the people. My service, however, has not prevented what comes with my dark skin serving this country.
I think that's and that's kind of where I'm going today. Like we have to think about yesterday. Yesterday was Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Think about today. Today's the 100th. How would you even say that? Anniversary, I guess, of the Tulsa riots, massacre. However you want to frame that. And I think when I was a kid, I knew my grandfather was in the Army for 4 or 5 years. I knew that I had 2 uncles that were Marines. Both had tours in Vietnam. And that's all I really knew about the military. Military wasn't too huge in my family, i.e. people wasn't lining up to go. But I did know history about the Tulsa massacre, but I didn't know in depth. My grandpa just kind of told me, like, there was bad things that happened, and it is wild to think because my grandfather was born in 1921. He was born in Alabama. Though.
Wow. Yeah.
So I say all that to say, today I did a little history lesson. And I'm gonna tie this back to my service. There's nearly 24 of the similar events of the Tulsa massacre. Some are more known than others. Like, people of all, races know about Tulsa. Most people know about Rosewood. There was a movie about that happened in Florida, but there was so many others that I just did not know about. And I was briefly reading on it, and it got me to thinking, sort of like you, my service, since I've been in, has never really, protected me from the view of being an African American in the military. It's long known that African Americans have served in every war this country's been in, and it's also long known, but often buried, that they have not been treated fairly or equally. And that's kind of always been, just how it goes. And I think last year, and we brought this up last week, with the George Floyd murder. And yes, I'm calling it a murder. The George Floyd murder.
It was a murder.
It opened eyes to a lot of things. And I think the military community was one that really took that into account, and they've been trying to make change. And it's with the small things that maybe people don't even think is important. You know, how we can wear our hair, how we can express ourselves. Women can, you know, express themselves with their nail colors and their different styles of wearing their hair and so on and so forth.
Right.
And though that's a good start, just because people are allowed to be them, it's still nowhere near what needs to happen. And, you know, I want to commend the Air Force on two things. First, you know, our last Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force was the second Black Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, with the first being Chief Barnes back in the 60s, but Chief Wright was our 18th. And now you have the first ever, I guess you want to call it 4-star, that is, you know, the commander of all United States Air Forces, and that's General Brown. So, you know, diversity is now definitely being highlighted because we're seeing these opportunities in different levels of the Air Force. And to me, my service is about continuing to bridge that gap, to push forward that leadership doesn't have a color. You know what I'm saying? Because I think for everything we ever seen, you go watch old war pictures. And I know my father always watched old war pictures. It's always represented. Yeah, but it's always represented by who? Some white man, right? That
always
and leads people.
Always.
That's just been a very bad stereotype, because we know, you know, that we got our own heroes, man. We got, you know, you got to go back to Glory, for instance, what those boys did.
Tuskegee Airmen.
Tuskegee Airmen. Absolutely.
You know, another, it's fiction, but one of my favorite, you know, war movies is, it's not so much war, but it was during, you know, World War II, was A Soldier Story.
I never seen that.
Man,
I gotta check that out.
Prime. It's incredible. And just real quick, I posted something on our Instagram about the over more near 24 Black massacres that have happened in the history of America. We are not taught this stuff in school.
Yeah, even Texas trying to eliminate stuff like this.
Right.
We talked about in our group.
Yeah.
And that's
a shame.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a shame that our history, I won't say our history. America's history has been filtered to be exceptional. And this goes back seasons ago. America is not exceptional. It isn't. Let's stop lying to ourselves.
Right.
You know, and I feel, because I served and I love my country, I feel that I can call out the hypocrisy of my country.
Yep. And that's one thing that we have to understand when we talk about our freedoms and what we actually do this for. You know, like sometimes people take the approach that everything has to be all inclusive. And what I mean by that is, like, you won't say America's great, but it's just America's great. And there's always a huge but when you're dealing with minorities.
Massive but.
It's a massive one. And that's some of the things that, you know, we try to highlight here on our show, but we're seeing now, like with the movements like BLM and just other things, like, you know, like we're tired of kind of just playing that fiddle, like we're Americans, it's great. You know, we're in America, everything's awesome. And in all actuality, you know, like there's a lot of times when it's not awesome. You know, and our parents grew up in a time where it's not awesome. Our grandparents grew up in a time where it's not awesome. Hell, even during times like this, it's still not awesome because our kids are witnessing things that is now very highlighted. It's very much highlighted. And that's what hurts, because, you know, I think that our parents and grandparents felt that they sacrificed by living through the lynching times, by living through the unequivocal civil rights, where it was just like, look, you black, and that means this: back of the bus, your own water fountain, your own restaurants, whatever, segregated school,
bathroom segregation, Jim Crow,
and we shouldn't still be seeing shit like that in the form of police brutality, openly racist things happening, you know, people just speaking their mind and saying whatever they want. You know, like that shit should be kind of put to bed, but it's not. And when I think about what I'm serving for, it's still to bring light to that. Like, look, you know, even in my 20 or almost 20 years, 18 years, I've witnessed shit. I've been called, a nigga by, a white person, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Eye-opening shit on an Air Force installation, shit like that is what I would think we would be well beyond, because somebody's quick to tell me I'm their brother in arms and this and that and other, but I'm still black when it comes to me waking up on any normal day. So those things is what my service, as I think about it now, the deeper part, that's where I'm coming from, man. I'm coming from that, trying to get that out there and project that. But
I mean, we all have the one thing that I think I learned over the years was it's not so much as how much we can impact the service itself. I think our impact on the service itself would come over time. My impact had to be with the people that I serve with, the people that I work for, the people that work for me. I really don't even like that connotation, people that work for me, the people that I worked with, it was incumbent upon me, especially as a black man working with other young black men, to touch their lives in a way that lasted, where each one paid it forward, and I feel confident that you, Dwayne, Will, Gino, each one has paid it forward in some way, shape, or form to another generation. And that generation has been entrusted to pay it forward and continue it, and so on and so on and so on, because I had some really good brothers take care of me. Now, I won't dismiss the fact that I had some really good white guys take care of me too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I a lot of folks that come through our path, they remain nameless, and we just have memories. Especially in my case. All right, my case, there was no email. All right, email happened probably the latter half of my career, but there was no stuff. Yeah, dude, look, I remember dot matrix printers. All right, I remember going into the office the first time. It's like, whoa, we got a computer. What the hell? Went from typewriters to computers. All right, look, yeah, I'm aging myself. I'm wearing these years well, but just the evolution of that service has gotten me to a place where I'm fortunate enough to keep in touch with the people that I have lifelong relationships with, people that are my family, people that I love, without reservation, people that I always joke, you guys are the people I would consider committing a crime for. That's how I qualify. That's how I qualify our relationship. That's what my service evolved into, and our lasting impact has to come from the people that we touch down the line.
That's fact. And I didn't really understand, just how important you can become on somebody's career, in their life in general, because growing up, you just taught to be humble. So I'm not looking like my leadership is not a style. It's like, look at me, look at me, look at me. Right.
Yeah.
It's more so like I tell my airmen all the time, my young staff sergeants as well, anything that y'all can do inside of your wheelhouse, I'm not above that just because I'm a master sergeant. And I think things like that resonate, so my service has been to show them that though I'm in a certain, place, if you want to look at it like that, I still know where you come from, and I didn't forget that. And so that's something that I want my legacy to say, my military legacy as well, is that I was fair across the board, and I wasn't afraid to, get down in the trenches because I've been there. But, I kind of want to go back to, something that I posted yesterday, and it was important, because again, like I said, growing up, like it was very limited what my military background was, just my uncles and my grandfather. So for me, I just remember a couple things, and that being that, there was times throughout the year where we had cookouts or we ate. And one of those days was, like I said, yesterday was Memorial Day. It was Memorial's Day. Then you have Veterans Day, and then you have Armed Forces Day. So for the longest, I had no idea that there was a true difference. Serving, you understand that there's a difference. So Armed Forces Day, that's for the individuals that are serving. That happens in May as well. And then it's, of course, Memorial Day. That day is for the individuals that have fallen. And then of course there's Veterans Day, and those are, of those who have served, so
my old ass.
Exactly. So a lot of times, somebody would tell me Happy Veterans Day, and I'm like, well, I'm still active duty. I don't quite have that title yet.
Right.
So Armed Forces Day is something that you don't hear preached about all that much, but that's more so the day that, active duty, can accept that appreciation. And of course, Memorial Day, always known as, oh, what y'all doing for Memorial Day? We're going to grill out, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's truly to think about, where, people in your family, if they've served, or other
sacrifice.
Other great leaders they've sacrificed. And one thing that we talk about the history books, and this is important. The day used to be called the Decoration Day because people would go and decorate, the graves. And one thing that we need to know, and it's not preached into the American history books, is African Americans actually are known for having one of the very first ever decoration days.
I saw that. I saw that recently. I saw that recently in South Carolina. I just saw that when I was researching this.
And this is all talking about what service means to you. What service means to me is learning the stories of great Tuskegee Airmen, learning, situations like that. We've always just thought, well, somebody came up with that day, but who? Well, shit, that was Black Americans that came up with that day. Putting that energy out there that, we are more than just a uniform. As a Black people, like I said, we've participated in every war and never really got the 100% dues that are ours to have, equal. Vietnam vets came home and basically was just like, well, fuck, thanks for what y'all did. Now you're still going back to poverty. We still not going to help
shit on
getting homes and all this other shit. And that's the type of shit that my uncles, they lived through that shit. My uncles still have PTSD. I lost one uncle, but my other one still kind of has this situation. So, man, look, this is not something that I'm trying to make dark. It's just more so like the service is more than just my career. I can tell all kinds of stories.
Yeah, it's complex.
It is.
It's complex. I can't fully honor my service, and I'm feeling that you feel the same. I can't fully honor my service by only acknowledging the upside to it. There's a downside. There is a definite downside that's associated with it, but that does not diminish the reverence I have for it, nor the relationships that I built during that service, that time that I served. I lost my wife who served. So in her service, her illness was service connected. So this will forever be a part of my life in as a veteran and as a widower of a service member. So we sacrifice every day. We sacrifice as Black people. We sacrifice as service members. That service and that sacrifice should not be glossed over. It should be revered. It should be, we should be held in the same regard as anybody else that has served. We should be held in the same regard as these even recent time war movies that we see. Illustrate us the same way.
Without it being, specifically just a Black picture, that type thing. So I'm gonna give Spike Lee the credit for what he did, his movie, with Chadwick Boseman being like their leader during Vietnam, and that's a great story. But you're right, like as they put out these other stories, these other movies, we kind of always kind of in the background, and we're not trying to make this episode strictly about that, but we are who we are. So I'm serving, you served as a Black man, right? So we know the differences we faced, right? And honestly, I can leave it at that. And I want to switch gears one more time and go back to Tulsa, because today President Biden, he gave his I guess you want to say his commemorate speech. He highlighted and addressed a lot of things. Quoting him, "For much too long, the history of what took place here was told in silence, cloaked in darkness. this was not a riot. This was a massacre, you know. So this is our president highlighting the fact that over 100 years ago, this is what happened. Now, other presidents have said their piece as well. But, you know, we're just talking about what he said today. And another thing for individuals who may not know, there are 3 remaining survivors. And they were there today. So we have Viola Fletcher, Hughes Van Ellis, and Leslie Benningfield Randall. All of them are over 100 years old. But you know, they're still living to tell their story of what they had actually witnessed all those years ago. So it's amazing that we still have individuals here that we can actually learn from. They can tell their story. And hopefully, you know, our country realizes that this was more than just an event that happened 100 years ago. This changed a lot of things because it suppressed, you know, Black wealth. It suppressed Black ownership for years, you know, for years. And it kind of was just happened, swept under the rug. And, you know, that was kind of it. And so learning our history, serving, you know, I have something to tell my kids, you know, more than just my own stories of my deployments or whatever. It's well beyond that. So service to me, not just getting caught up on the military, it's what you're doing in your community too. And it sometimes can be difficult because we move so much, right? And so a lot of times that becomes a scapegoat, like, well, I move so much, I don't want to, you know, get here and get embedded, and then all of a sudden I gotta leave, so I'll wait. But that's something that, you know, we need to kind of, you know, change the tune on to. Get out there, man. Even if it's on the military base, like, get out there and do something. You know, service is not just because you wear a uniform. So I know there's a lot of civilians out there that are connected in many ways, doing great things for their community. So this is also something that, you know, you can think about. My service just happens to be because I am in the armed forces. So that's kind of my piece. You got anything
service,
you want to talk about?
I think anyone's service should be to serve others.
That's key. That's key. That's true leader. That's true leader right there.
You can look at it from the most selfish way possible. It makes me feel good to serve others. And you know, I think back to the successes that we had in our office. Those successes weren't about me. You know, my pride came from watching you succeed, Gandy succeed. Every person in that office succeed in one way, shape, or form. Every time somebody got a degree or a new job or a promotion, a decoration, I celebrated those. Because those are the accomplishments that I want each one of you to have. Every time that there's a milestone in your family, remember how we used to just, Daylon's got this at school, or Nana's got that at school, and we would all load up and go. You know, that's service to me.
It is.
It goes beyond. Especially in the context that you know the military is structured.
Family, right? That's what they say.
And that's the best environment that you can create. You can create that family atmosphere where it's clearly delineated. You know, in a family, kids know, I fuck up, I'm in trouble. Right. It should be clearly delineated. And I used to always tell everybody, don't let me be the last one to know. I cannot take care of you if I'm the last one to know. But
that's true.
Each time that there was something to be had, to be learned, to be shared, to be celebrated, we did it all together.
And I try to keep that alive now, man. I try to, you know, ask questions. I start my day each day by asking, you know, generally how my people are, more so than what we got going on at work. I always tell, and anyone can tell you that it's work with me, is I like the smoke, meaning like I'm not going to allow anybody outside of our office to, you know, basically give them hell when they're trying to do the job, and that job being protecting the base. I'm not going to let people just talk to y'all any kind of way, you know, blow y'all off when y'all try to get things done. Like that's something I learned from you. Quickly, you would always grab your hat. Oh, we need to go talk to. We just mob out. And it's like, you can't help but to sometime, you know, I guess imitate your leaders, you know what I'm saying? The people that you revere as a leader and you follow their footsteps, because I'm not going out there, all guns loaded. Like when I was a young staff sergeant, you should tell me like, you can't just talk to people any kind of way. See, but I came from the flight line. So, it was coming from a good place. We just had no tact on the flight line.
Right. And the same thing with a cop. I had to learn it too.
Yeah, the med group's different. You got to have a little tact when you're trying to get things done. But at the same time, I want people to know that I'm serious too. Like, like I'm not here just to blow smoke. Like if my people are trying to do their job and you're becoming a nuisance of any type, it's my job to protect them. So that's the way I look at it, man. So that's like I said, serving other people, making their jobs easy. I go sit through the shitty meetings,
that's the goal.
Deal with the BS so that I can ensure that y'all don't have to deal with that. That's kind of where I do. So
I used to always say, look, I'm here to take the punches in the gut. Y'all just move forward. Y'all do what y'all need to do, but that encompasses what service means to me, when and man, I love how you illustrated how we can do more outside of the construct of the military, learning more and more about the Tulsa massacre and the other ones that occurred in American history. I think it's our responsibility to share that.
Absolutely.
Not just with with anyone who's willing to listen. As we learn, we should educate.
That's true. That's true. And I feel like it's important that, and this is not, to create any kind of division, but you like you said, each one teach one. And ultimately the things that we know, we have to positively give back to our younger generation, because our younger generation, they already have their own viewpoints on the world, and it's like when we were young, we had our own viewpoints on the world, but somebody had to educate us, you know what I mean? So, everybody's equal. In my book, I look at everybody the same. But when I see a young, black male or a young black female, and they are not, in my opinion, like carrying themselves in a positive light and they're wearing a military uniform, I make an effort to speak on that. I make an effort to let them understand that, this uniform is bigger than your individuality. Doesn't mean you can't be who you are, but you can also be who you are and be a civilian too. See, you made a choice to be who you are in the military.
No doubt.
So it's not conforming. It's not, trying to make somebody, be, Johnny Air Force and nothing like that. But it's just a certain way you have to carry yourself. And sometimes you have to check yourself at the door type thing. And, I've always, kind of did that. I was never a guy that had to get talked to about that type of stuff. And I grew up in a rough neighborhood, but I had someone, my father, my grandfather, who kind of molded me and gave me, those tools to enter the world and not have my environment, affect me negatively when I'm dealing with it. So, that's part of my service too, man. Just trying to, impart knowledge. And again, it's theirs to do with what they want to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Can't force nothing on anybody, but that's what you did to us. You just imparted knowledge, and you always say you the cautionary tale. So
always.
We learn from my mistakes so you don't make them as well. I talk about all that stuff too, man. As I get older and more confident, my groups have grown. It used to be onesie twosies, but I'll see myself talking to 10, 12 airmen at once sometime. Like I just did an event with my buddy where we were sharing knowledge on taking tests, military tests, but then that quickly turned into like a mentorship session, and I'm talking to 40, 50 airmen. So like you grow, you evolve, and then I think your service also grows and evolves too. And you think why you join. A lot of people join education or escape where they came from, but I've stayed this long, 18 years. You stayed 20 plus years. It becomes much more than that after that, man. So
as it should. I mean,
kind of where I am.
The reasoning can't from our individual reasons for coming in or to serve can't always stay the same. It can't be, well, I'm going to school. Well, you've already maxed it out. So then what? Are you influencing others to go to school? Are you helping them grow? Are you sharing those experiences that you had with them? So you're making their path a little bit easier, and I think that's the thing that I learned from all them old heads. It just made me think back to when you said you pull one to the side here and there and you kind of educate them. I I just hear in the back of my head, come here, young buck, McKinney pulling me off to the side, come here. I'm like, oh my God, why you always in my head, dude? Why you always messing with me? But he was probably one of the most instrumental people in my fucking in all of my years. He forced me to learn, forced me to teach, he put me in uncomfortable positions that made me challenge myself. So, I appreciate those whose service served me, and I hope that I paid it forward through my service.
Man, that's 100%, man. I always think, my mentors, there's you, there's Al Thomas that passed away, there's Mike Woodburn, and then there's Marcus Simmons. In my 18 years, all four of you brothers have in some way, shape, or form, molded me in a way to make me effective to what I am today. So definitely saying thank you is key. You only hope that after your time in the military has gone, that someone remembers you enough to say, I learned this from you. You never know. I always say, you don't search for a mentor, the mentor finds you, So, I'm not the one of the people out there who's trying to manufacture mentorship. I'm not one of the persons trying to manufacture leadership. I am who I am, and I understand how I got to where I am. And so if any kind of way you learn something from me, and then you have it in your heart to say, I think that's one of my mentors, I would like him to be a mentor, that's totally on you, and I'm there to support and be whatever you need me to be, but it should never go the other way around. And so I say all that to say, working with you guys and learning from you, it was never like that. Y'all never sat me down and was like, here's what mentorship is. Here's what leadership is. I just was able to watch, and I was able to look at what was going on around me and absorb that information and be like, that's somebody that I entrust my thoughts with. That's somebody that I can go to and say, you know what, this isn't about work. This is about life. And I feel like they'll be, influential in helping me. So that's what y'all service has meant to me. And I appreciate it, man. I really do, man. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you, and anybody who I was fortunate enough to work with, for being receptive to me. I just try to be my genuine self throughout. I'm flawed. I made mistakes, but I would never ever wanted to push what I did wrong, how I did things off where anybody would suffer.
Gotcha.
So I appreciate, you and the countless others that have given me their time, their effort, their attention. So from me to you, thank you for allowing me to serve you.
All right, man. I appreciate that. Before we get out of here, I want to plug one thing. I'm kind of springing this on you. Father Day is coming up, and we all been talking about taking that drink of Uncle Nearest, which is another black hero. If you don't know the story of Uncle Nearest,
incredible story.
Just know that he had a lot to do with what you know to be Jack Daniels. So just leave that at that. But go out and research Uncle Nearest if you've never heard of him. However, I wanted to, put everybody on the spot, and I was like, you know what? We got this platform, we got this podcast. We talked about having that sip. We might as well try to just have a Brother's Day episode. We'll work out the logistics. We'll start hitting everybody up in the group, and we'll see. We'll probably do another short one like this, 20, 30 minutes. Just talk about being fathers, stories, that type of thing, whatever. But I'm just putting that out there for the boys, man. So looking,
man, let's do it. Let's do it.
Light it up, man. But I think that's all we got for today, man.
That's it, man. I hope that your Memorial Day went well. I saw the food you grilled up.
Boy, a little something on the grill.
You have stepped your game up over the years.
I have. Since you forced my hands,
and cook.
Yeah,
I needed you to be me. I needed you to be me. Every time I go somewhere, I'm cooking. I don't want to cook in my own house. You gonna come over here and cook.
Like I always tell that same story. I'm sitting there, I'm clean, I got on nice clothes, and she was like, "This is for your wife. You cooking?" I was like, "Huh?" And then you was like, "Yeah, man, go ahead, do your thing." I was like, "What?" The setup.
Yes,
Complete
yes,
setup,
yes.
man. That was
Oh
wild.
my God. Memories are
Great memory,
everything, brother. Memories
Great.
are everything. Hey, folks, thank you for tuning in. I don't know if anybody stopped in, but we're gonna drop this on you in the next couple of days, and we look forward to the next show.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Until the next time, it's been C on the Doctor. Y'all take it light.